Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and today we're going to be talking about a potential trade for the Houston Rockets. As Rockets rumors have been quiet over the last couple of days, just a bunch of talk. But there was a report that I did see that caught my eye as a Rockets fan. It's not centered around the Rockets, but it is about a Rockets player. There was a report I saw it on NBA Free Agency Rumors that the LA Clippers, Dallas Mavericks, and the Phoenix Suns still all have interest in Rockets player KJ Martin. Now, if you go back a year ago, KJ Martin was frustrated with the Houston Rockets and requested a trade. And when that happened, and when KJ requested the trade, a lot of teams popped up to be interested in a trade for KJ Martin. List of the Portland Trailblazers, the Dallas Mavericks, the Phoenix Suns, and the LA Clippers. Now, apparently, I guess the Portland Trailblazers are not interested in KJ anymore, but the three other teams that had interest in him, KJ Martin last offseason continue to have interest in him. And I'm not going to really talk about the Suns or Mavericks potential trade in this video, but I am going to go over what I think a trade with KJ Martin going to the Clippers would look like for the Rockets, and if the Rockets should potentially trade KJ Martin to the Clippers. Let's go over it. I know a lot of Rockets fans don't want KJ Martin to be traded, but I can't help to think, like, KJ is a guy who's going to be a free agent next offseason. He could be a free agent this offseason if the Rockets didn't have a team option on him. But they have a team option on him. He has a good trade value. They're definitely going to accept that team option. Even if they don't want him on the roster anymore, want to move him, they're still going to accept that team option. They'd be stupid not to. So that team option is going to be accepted by the Rockets to keep KJ Martin on the roster. And then they have the choice to either keep him on the roster and take the chance of losing him in free agency next year, which I think there's more of a chance of losing him than retaining him in next free agency, or you can trade him and get some decent assets back. I honestly would go with trading him. In my opinion, if you're going to go with the route where you could potentially lose him, you could get a nice veteran back for him and maybe a potential good, decent draft pick. I go with trading him, in my opinion, but let's go over what a trade with the LA Clippers and Houston Rockets would look like to land KJ Martin in LA. So this is the trade I have happening to land KJ Martin in LA with the Clippers. So I have KJ Martin, Deshaun Nix, and a 2024 second-round pick going to the LA Clippers. So it's a 2024 second. That pick belongs to Brooklyn. That might be a decent second next year. And I mean, I know it's a second round pick, but that pick by Brooklyn, I don't think they're going to be that great next year. So that you're looking at maybe that being around the 35th to 40th pick in the draft. Which, if you draft well, you can get a decent player with that pick. And the Clippers have drafted pretty decent in the second round. In decent year in previous years, but so yeah, in that point, you'd get a 2024 second KJ Martin, who averaged, I think, 13 points per game last season. I think he averaged 14 and 12. I'm not too sure, but he averaged 14 and 12, I believe. And Deshaun Nix in this case, he's kind of a salary filler, and not. I mean, I think the trade could be done if the Rockets. We're giving KJ and the player that is coming to Houston that I'm going to talk about in just a second I think the trade would still get done, but I say it's a salary filler, and we all think it's a salary filler, but it's really just the Clippers taking off a problem off the Rockets' hands and getting rid of Deshaun Nix trash ass. Excuse me for the language, but I think if you're a Rockets fan and you watch Deshaun Nix this year, you're going to be saying worse than trash ass. Definitely way worse, because Deshaun Nix was horrible. And if this trade happens, I feel bad for Clippers fans. I really feel bad, but I'm going to feel really happy, though, because it's going to be a really, really good feeling that Deshaun Nix is off this roster. because that was horrible last season. That was horrible to watch. I mean, I love the Rockets, but sometimes he'd be on the court, and I kind of wanted to change the channel, to be honest with you. But I didn't do that. So Deshaun Nix and KJ Martin to the Deshaun Nix and KJ Martin and a 2024 second that belongs to Brooklyn, which could be a decent second round pick, which I know it doesn't really matter, but just throwing that out there. So 2024 second that belongs to Brooklyn, KJ Martin and Deshaun Nix to the LA Clippers, and in return, the Houston Rockets get back one player and 2 draft picks. The Rockets get Marcus Morris Sr. and the 30th and 48th overall pick. I love this trade for the Rockets, number one, because apparently the Rockets are trying to add in veterans. And why not, if you're going to trade KJ, I would say try to get a veteran in return. Marcus Morris is a really solid player, a really good shooter, really good defender. I think he would be really good for off the bench for the Rockets. He's chippy. He's an aggressive player. He's a hell of a player, and he didn't have as good as a season as he usually has been having in years past with the Clippers this year, but I think he'd be a great addition for the Houston Rockets. And then 2 draft picks for this year. The 30th overall pick, which ironically is back in the Rockets' hands after trading it to the Clippers, because that whole trade swap and the Eric Gordon trade happened. The Rockets and Clippers, when EG got traded to the Clippers, they did the trade swap, and the Rockets ended up getting the first round pick from the Clippers' first round pick this year, and the Clippers ended up getting the Bucks' first round pick that we had from the PJ Tucker trade, and it ended up being where we swapped draft picks. They now have the 30th pick. We now have the 21st pick. Is it the 21st pick we have? I think so. Is it pick 21 or pick 22? I can't remember. Or is it pick 19? I have no idea. I think it's pick 19 we have. Yeah. Oh no, it's not pick 19. It's pick 20. Pick 20. So yeah, we ended up jumping 10 spots in the draft in that Eric Gordon trade, and they have that first round pick that we got from Milwaukee. So ultimately, that first round pick would be back in our hands, and then also the 40th overall pick. I mean, I don't know what the hell we're gonna do with that pick, but who knows? Maybe trade it in a different trade. Who knows? But the Rockets get Marcus Morris Sr., a really solid player, really solid shooter, veteran, and not only that, really solid defender. The 30th overall pick, which the Rockets can keep or trade with the 20th overall pick. Maybe trade up. Maybe make a really solid trade up. Trade 30 and 20 and trade up. Who knows? Just throwing that out there. And then the 40th overall pick. So senior, Marcus Morris Sr., 30th overall pick, and the 48th overall pick, and then KJ Martin and Deshaun Nix, and a 2024 second that belongs to Brooklyn to LA. I don't know who says no. I think the Clippers would definitely not say no. I know it's a little bit too much because the Clippers are giving up Marcus Morris and the 30th overall pick, a first-round pick. But the Clippers don't really need that 30th overall pick. They really don't. They have a bunch of depth. They probably would want to use that 30th overall pick to improve the roster. And in this scenario, they get to get rid of Marcus Morris Sr.'s horrible contract, because his contract's at like 15 to 16 million. I will say Marcus Morris Sr. is a really solid player, but he's not worth 15 million. When he signed that contract, he probably was, but not anymore. And that's the bad thing about signing a veteran to a big deal, is eventually later on in the contract they're not going to be worth 15, 16 million. And in this case, the Rockets would be taking on a steep contract with Senior, but I think he'd be really good for us off the bench and for some depth. But who knows? I'm not saying the Rockets should do this trade, but I'm just saying this is what a trade would look like for us if the Clippers are really interested in trading for KJ Martin, like reports say they are. But it'd be a really solid trade for the Rockets. Let me know what you guys think, Rockets fans. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Rockets.